Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be diving deep into my makeup collection, and I'm going to be letting you guys know how much makeup I have in my collection. I spent a lot of time yesterday. Actually, this took me a couple hours counting all of my products in each category, breaking it down by face, lips, eyes, and then breaking it down even deeper of how much of each product I actually have. So for today's video, we are going to be going over my makeup inventory just so you guys can see again how much makeup I actually have in my collection. I was inspired to do this video by a couple of different YouTubers. I will have their channels linked down below of these specific videos and the specific channels where I got this inspiration, but let me tell you guys, doing videos like this are definitely very eye-opening, and if you guys have been watching me and seeing me do shop my stash videos, it's just been really important to me to really try to focus on what I have. So I figured by actually going through and pulling everything out and counting and seeing everything, it really opened my eyes to how much makeup I actually have. Now with that being said, I definitely don't think I have the largest collection ever, and I'm also not making this video to brag. I'm more making this video for entertainment purposes, but also again to hold myself accountable to what I have, what I need to use up, so I stop purchasing new items and things like that. So I really hope that you guys enjoy seeing this video. I hope you find it entertaining. Please do not judge me for how much makeup I have in my collection. Again, doing YouTube is a part-time job for me, and I just love making makeup content. So with that being said, I really hope that you guys enjoy seeing this video, and if you want to see how much makeup I have in my collection, make sure to keep on watching. So the first thing that I went ahead and counted in my collection is the thing that I definitely have the least of, and those are eye primers, like traditional eye primers, pots, or even in the tube, or crayon eye primers, just anything that's kind of labeled as an actual eye primer. And I only have 4 of these, reason being I honestly don't use a lot of traditional eye primers anymore. I definitely kind of replaced that step in my routine over the last few years with just a traditional concealer and powder. I don't find myself gravitating towards purchasing eye primers, and I feel like a lot of brands don't really come out with them anymore. There's definitely those traditional staple ones still on the market, but to me, I really just use concealer a lot. Today I use the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer, which I really love, but I don't really find myself reaching for them too often, so I only have 4 of those in my collection. Next up, my eyebrow product inventory comes in at 14 products. Now this is a mixture of all of my eyebrow products combined: pencils, eyebrow powders, and eyebrow gels. But for someone who uses her Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz every single day with her Profusion brow powder, I didn't think I had so many other brow products, but all of them I really do love. Again, I just like having different drugstore ones for videos, dupes videos, just things that were sent to me or I'm testing out, but I do like to switch up my brow products here and there. So again, there are 14 products when it comes to my eyebrows. Another number that really shocked me in a category here are eyeliners. You guys know, if you watch me, I never really wear eyeliner. Sometimes I kind of play around with some colorful ones here and there, but I don't really wear liquid liner. I don't really wear waterline eyeliner on the daily, but I still have 12 eyeliners. I have a handful of pencil eyeliners. I have 1 liquid liner in my collection, but then I do have a couple of pot liners, like gel liners from Focalure that were sent to me, Sigma that was sent to me, and then I also have this melted chrome liner from Sigma that I'm pretty sure I featured here on my channel, that I really like to use for glitter cut creases or just to add a little double wing, just something fun to a look. So 12 eyeliners, and I honestly thought that was going to come in at a lot less. I thought I was maybe going to have 5, but I kind of forgot that I had all of those pot eyeliners and gel eyeliners. My makeup inventory for mascara is 10 mascaras. Now, this is the one in my collection that I'm not too happy about personally with myself, because I did realize that like 7 or 8 out of the 10 of these are open, which I usually try to avoid that because mascara is something that goes bad so fast and dries out so fast. I usually like to keep the majority of the mascaras in my collection closed, just so that when I run out of the one I'm using, I could jump into a brand new one and it's not just sitting there drying up. But I believe 7 or 8 out of the 10 of these are open. One of them is a little sample size that I haven't used yet, but I still figured I would count it. It is part of my collection in my inventory. Single eyeshadows comes in at 20 single eyeshadows. This includes both my ColourPop Super Shock shadows, Makeup Geek shadows, as well as one single Anastasia Beverly Hills shadow. My ColourPop shadows I absolutely love. I have 10 of those and I use these really often, pretty much on a daily basis when I do my makeup. Also, along with those, I have 9 Makeup Geek shadows in a pan, which I think these are something I might have to cycle out of my collection soon. Actually, I'm lying. I think there's 5 Makeup Geek and 4 MAC shadows, or 6 Makeup Geek and 3 MAC shadows. I'm not exactly sure, but nonetheless, those MAC single eyeshadows as well as the Makeup Geek ones, I know they're pretty old. I'm pretty sure those were the eyeshadows that I used in my first ever video here on YouTube. So single shadows are definitely something that, again, I might cycle out of my collection soon. This is kind of like the last category for the eye stuff besides palettes, and I just figured I would combine it because I honestly kind of see these as the same product, kind of use them interchangeably. So those are loose pigments, loose glitters, as well as any liquid eyeshadows or liquid glitters, and I kind of see them as accessories to eyeshadows. So when it comes to pigments, glitters, and liquid shadows, I have a total of 11. Now moving on to a couple of face products, I'm going to start off with cheek products or products that are in a compact. For blushes, I do have 15 single blushes in my collection. I do have face palettes in a separate category, which that's another crazy number that I will get into, but I do have 15 single blushes. Again, not a huge number, but I don't know how it happened because I really am not a huge blush person. I would say over the past year and a half, I have definitely been into blush more, but I don't remember actively buying all of these blushes. I don't know, it just kind of happened. So I do have 15 single blushes in my collection. Next up for bronzers, I have 13 single bronzers, like these little compact ones like from ABH, ELF, Wet n Wild. Bronzer is just something that I've really been loving testing new ones out, especially from the drugstore, and I honestly used to only have like 1 or 2, like the Too Faced one and my Anastasia one, but over the past couple of years I have bumped that number up to 13 bronzers. It is a mix of high-end and drugstore, but I definitely want to say they are mostly drugstore, as you guys will see them all kind of spread out. So I just really love bronzer. I love experimenting with different undertones. I like having different options for both the winter and summer, something a little bit more cool tone to contour with. I just like having the variety and I love to bronze up my skin. So 13 bronzers in my makeup collection. Now I'm sure that you guys definitely know this about me, but I love a good glow. I love testing out new ones. High-end, drugstore, just all of the different highlighters. I have a total of 26 single highlighters, which to me is a high number. I think that is the highest number so far that I have touched on when it comes to just a single category of products. But I just love to glow, you guys. There is something about a good highlighter that I cannot resist. 26 is up there, but I'm definitely okay with it because I know I use all of them and I just love having all of those different glow options. Lastly, for cheek products are face palettes. Now this is anything from a blush palette, a highlighter palette, a bronzer contour palette, or a combination of everything if it has blushes, bronzers, and highlighters in it. This comes to a total of 20 face palettes, which to me I am also a little ashamed of because I know that I don't use these too often, and this is definitely something that I think I'm going to totally stop purchasing because just from my usage habits over the past few years, I have noticed myself just gravitating more for single products of blushes, bronzers, and highlighters over these face palettes. And I also don't love to travel with them. I find that a lot of the ones I have are a little larger. They are a little bit more bulky, and I just overall feel like I get better quality out of single cheek products than in face palettes. So I do have 20 of them. You guys can see there are some really OG face palettes here, like the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Palette, the Kat Von D Shade and Light Palette. Now you guys are only going to see 19 palettes in this little overlay because when I was filming this portion of the video, the Jaclyn Hill palette went all the way to the back of my drawer and I didn't realize that I didn't take it out. So there are 20, including the Jaclyn Hill palette, although on screen there are only going to be 19. And I would say out of all of my face palettes, I use the highlighter palettes the most because that's my favorite part about doing my cheek. Next up, we have sprays, and this is anything from a setting spray, a priming spray, or a refreshing spray. And this number is actually lower than I thought, and that is 7 sprays in my collection, with a lot of them actually being almost empty. I'm not sure how well you guys can see, but out of these 7 sprays, 2 or 3 of them are pretty low and almost empty. So I think within like the next month or 2 months, I probably could cycle a few of these out of my collection, but knowing me, I'll probably be back at 7 because I love sprays and I love these staple 7 in my collection. I probably will go ahead and repurchase a few of them, like my MAC Fix Plus I'll definitely be repurchasing, as well as the Catrice one. That is one of my favorites. Now moving on to base products, these numbers have definitely grown, I know for a fact, over the past few years because I just love trying out new base products, and my taste and my liking of how I like my skin to look has definitely changed. So even though I don't have any old numbers to compare these numbers to, just trust me, they're probably, I would say, double than what they used to be 2 years ago. I have 14 primers. A couple of them are duplicates amongst the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, but I didn't combine any duplicates. I counted every single product individually. So I do have 14 primers, again, a mixture of high-end and drugstore. There's just something about primers and base products in general that I mentioned that I have just been so drawn to, that I have just been so in love with trying new ones. Primer is just one of those things where it doesn't just do one thing. There are so many different ones, whether you want something mattifying or luminous or hydrating or with sunscreen, pore filling, silicone texture, moisturizer texture. There are just endless possibilities to primers, and I want to try every single one and have all of those different options. Next up for foundation, I have, again, probably double than I did a few years ago. Honestly, maybe even triple, because I remember back when I started my YouTube channel, I had 2 or 3, maybe 4 foundations, but I probably only had 2 or 3. And now a couple years later, I have 12 different foundations in my collection. Again, it has just been so hard for me to saying no to trying new foundations, especially from the drugstore. My foundation collection is mostly drugstore. And then same thing with the primers. They're just different finishes. You want different shades depending if I'm tan, if I'm not tan. Do I want a matte foundation, luminous, light coverage, full coverage? But I do go through these. I do cycle through base products pretty much on a daily basis. I am changing up my primer and foundation combination, and I am lucky in the sense that I do have a pretty normal skin type where I'm able to pull off both mattifying products as well as luminous, dewy, and hydrating products. So I just love trying them all, and I do use all of these foundations. I just kind of use a different one every single day and cycle through them that way. I knew I was going to have a lot of concealers, and I'm actually surprised that the number didn't come in a little bit higher than what it's actually at. But for concealers, my inventory came in at 17 concealers, which again is larger than the average person, but I don't think it's an astronomical. That I can't like say that word normally ever since that TikTok. That's like the volume is astronomical. Anyways, it is a high number, but I don't think it's absolutely huge. When I film, I kind of have that same routine that I go for because I know certain products look really great on camera, so I might use my Too Faced Born This Way or the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo. But day to day, if I'm just running errands or want to throw on a little bit of makeup to go to my boyfriend's house or something, I do try to shuffle through different concealers, ones that you guys don't see me use all of the time here on my channel. Next up for face powders, these are all of the face powders that I own in a single form, whether they are a loose face powder or a pressed powder, and that comes in at 10 face powders. Powders I am going to declutter over the next few months. Definitely don't hold me to it because I am very attached to the makeup that is in my collection, and I do do have a hard time kind of decluttering things, but there are a couple of powders that I absolutely love that are not going anywhere. The e.l.f. Halo Glow, which is the powder I'm wearing today, the Milani Make It Last, and the Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder. The Makeup Revolution banana powder is really great. I think for me, this is another category that I kind of want to have a goal of like using up and getting this a little bit smaller because I don't use them all in the first place. So I would say if I could maybe cut this category in half and have 5 face powders, I would be happy. Now we are going to be moving on to lip products, which I definitely knew this would be a larger number because lip products are something that I just feel like there are so many different possibilities, endless possibilities of lip products, formulas, brands, colors, if you want lip gloss, lipstick, liquid lipstick, lip liners. It's also really hard to mess up a lipstick or a lip product, so it's very rare that there will be a lip product that I dislike enough to return it or declutter it out of my collection. So I do have a lot of lip products. First up, for traditional bullet lipsticks, I have 34. I love myself a good traditional bullet lipstick. It is my favorite form of a lip product to wear. Just very easy to apply, creamy and comfortable, so I'm totally fine with having the amount that I have. But on the other hand, when it comes to liquid lipsticks, I don't have that many less, and I don't wear them or like them nearly as much as traditional lipsticks. So for liquid lipsticks over the years, I have accumulated, well, I actually just recently decluttered these, so I probably should have counted them before I did the declutter, but as of now, I have 29 liquid lipsticks. I will definitely be the first one to say that I rarely wear these. There are a couple of staple shades and a couple of staple formulas that I really enjoy, that I really like to use, but I would say maybe that's like 5 of them, and the other 24 I haven't touched in a long time. But 29 is a lot of them, so I think that is another category that I'm going to have to go through soon. For lip gloss, my inventory and my count came in at 23 glosses, which to me is totally fine. I know that I use all of these. I use a ton of lip gloss. My makeup habits are a little bit different than you guys might see on camera than they are off camera, but I wear a ton of lip gloss throughout the week, so 23 is fine with me. I think they are all beautiful, and I do cycle through all of these. Lip liner and lip crayons is one that is also a little bit higher. I have the same amount as I do liquid lipsticks, and that is 29 lip liners, as well as lip crayons or any chubby lip pencils. I figured I would just group these all together. The very last category in this video is the one that I have the most amount of, and I'm sure you guys could have guessed this even from the beginning if you've been watching my videos, if you just know the type of person that I am. Yes, I do have the most eyeshadow palettes in my collection, coming in at 46 eyeshadow palettes. I know that's a really huge number. We are almost at 50 eyeshadow palettes, but I definitely want to do my best not to get it to 50, because upon counting them yesterday, I just realized again that there are so many palettes that I want to show love to that have really gotten pushed to the back of my drawer. I kind of tend to cycle between these, what is this, like 6 or 7 palettes up here on my vanity, but there are so many fun ones that I used to use all the time here on my channel that I've purchased or I got for birthdays and Christmas. I think if I ever did some type of no buy, which I might consider, let me know if that's something you guys want to see me do. I don't want to stick to anything because I don't want to disappoint anyone, but I think if I were to do some type of no buy, I really would not buy any more eyeshadow palettes. I have slowed down my eyeshadow palette buying. I haven't been asking for a lot of palettes for like holidays or anything because I know I have a ton. So again, eyeshadow palettes came in at 46, which is a massive, massive amount. For the grand finale, with all of the numbers added up in my makeup inventory, the amount of makeup that I have in my collection comes to a total of 366 products, which, wow, to me that is a big number, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this video. I am really happy that I took the time to really count everything out and film this video again, just to hold myself accountable. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this video. I hope that you found it entertaining, and I hope you enjoyed spending time with me today. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel before you leave. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, click that notification bell down below and you'll get notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!